Hi, Pre-Algebra. We are looking at lesson 8.3, rotations. This is our third transformation we're looking at. We have looked at translations, which were slide, up, down, left, right. We looked at reflections, and now we're looking at rotations. Rotation is a turn, and for me, the rotation is the most complicated of the movements. So there are certain things that we need to know before we get into our assignment. And let's look at a few key things. The two things that I want to look at are direction and degrees. When we're talking about a rotation, a turn, you can move clockwise. And if you are familiar with an analog clock, the hand moves to the right in a circular. It keeps going to the right. So this is clockwise. So if this is your starting point, you're moving to the right. There's your arrow. The opposite is counterclockwise. That is moving to the left. So when we're talking about rotations, we are talking about the direction of the turn. And the direction can be clockwise or counterclockwise. We're also going to be talking about the degree of the turn. Now, do you know how many degrees are in a circle? Well, 360 degrees in a circle. So you can turn it up to 360 degrees. However, we are only going to be looking at multiples of 90 degrees. So a 90-degree rotation, a 180-degree rotation, or a 270. So what does that mean? Let's say I've got this die and it is in this first quadrant. If I want to move it clockwise, it's going to be going in this direction, okay? It'll be going in this direction. That's a clockwise movement. Now, if I'm moving it clockwise, 90 degrees, it will move into this quadrant next to it. So a 90-degree turn would be into this quadrant. Okay, clockwise. If I want my die to move into this quadrant and I'm moving clockwise, each quadrant is 90 degrees. So this would be 90 degrees here, 180 here. So a movement, we're moving 180 degrees clockwise to go from here to here. Now, if I want my die in this quadrant and I'm moving clockwise, I have to go through 1, 2 to a third quadrant. So this would be 90, 180, 270. So a clockwise movement again, if this is the original, 90 degrees to here, 180 degrees into this quadrant, 270 into this one, and then 360 would be right back where you started from. But we are not going to find 360-degree rotations because there's no change. All right, if you're moving counterclockwise, counterclockwise is the opposite direction. So you're going this way. If I move from here to here, counterclockwise, I've moved into one quadrant. That is 90 degrees counterclockwise. If I move over here, I've gone 90, 180 degrees counterclockwise. If I go here, I've gone 1, 2, 3, gone through 3 quadrants. So 90, 180, 270. So there are 2 things to look at when we're looking at rotation. One is direction, clockwise or counterclockwise, and the other is degrees. Which quadrant are we going into? All right, the other thing I need to make sure you understand, if I move my die from here to here, there are 2 correct answers to how I'm moving. I am moving 90 degrees clockwise or 270 degrees counterclockwise. It just depends. So there are 2 correct answers to the movement. Does that make sense? Now, 180 degrees is interesting because you end up in the same quadrant whether you go clockwise, 90, 180, or counterclockwise, 90, 180. So there are 2 different answers, clockwise 180, counterclockwise 180. If I'm here, if I start here and I move here, if I'm moving clockwise, I'm going 270 degrees. If I go counterclockwise, I go 90 degrees. So there are two different answers depending upon which direction you're moving. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about, and this may not make sense until we do some examples, is when we move it, what is happening to our ordered pair? When I move a point from here to here, what happens to the ordered pair? And I kind of, if we were in class, we would do a big exploration. We would write down what our original points were, our new points, and see what would happen. But unfortunately, we can't do that. So the rule of thumb I'm just going to give you, and that is, this looks confusing, but it will make sense hopefully when we do some examples. If you're moving 90 degrees and 270 degrees, I've got X and Y in absolute value brackets because I don't want you to worry about negatives or positives right now, because it depends on where you start from and where you're going, whether X is negative or Y is negative or not. So whatever X and Y are, don't worry about the negatives or positives right now. The X and Y will flip spots, okay? They will trade spaces. So if your original X and Y, you got to flip them. So now the Y is your X value and the X is your Y value. You got to flip them, okay? That's 90 and 270. 180 degrees, though, it doesn't matter what X or Y is, it just becomes opposite. Okay, the X and Y are still the X and the Y, but they're opposite now. Okay, so 90 and 270, your X and Y flip spots. 180, they don't flip spots, but they become opposite. So let's look at your assignment, and we will do several together, and then I will get you started on some, and you'll answer that yourself. So this is saying, number one, I'm going to just get you started on. Number one says a rotation of point P in the direction indicated about O maps P onto P prime. Lots of math speak for P moves around the origin, either counterclockwise or clockwise. It moves about O and it ends up here. Okay, so it says state the angle of rotation. So we're moving counterclockwise. So P is here, P prime is here. So I'm moving P from here to here counterclockwise. So it's asking how many degrees is that? I have moved one quadrant. So how many degrees is that if I'm moving one quadrant counterclockwise? Do you remember? Said 90, you're correct. All right, so B, clockwise. P starts here, P prime is here. So I'm moving clockwise, I'm moving this direction. So how many degrees from P to P prime? All right, so that is one. You're telling the degrees. How many degrees? The angle of rotation. All right, number two says each point has been rotated about the origin O to form its image. State the angle and direction of each rotation. All I want you to do is tell, here's P prime. Is it, and there are two correct answers. There's a correct answer for the counterclockwise movement and a correct answer for the clockwise. I just need one of them. So tell me how many degrees and what direction you're moving to go from P to P prime. And same thing to go from Q to Q prime. How many degrees and in what direction? Clockwise, counterclockwise, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees. All right, so that's 1 and 2. I think that's fairly basic. 3, though, we're going to do together. All right. So it says, Peter is in the seat of a Ferris wheel rotating about its center O. So O is the origin. It's rotating this way or this way. The seat is at point P. He is rotated from P by each of the following rotations. Draw and label his positions after each rotation from P on the coordinate grid. Okay, I want to talk about the rule of thumb. Do you remember the rule of thumb? The rule of thumb, 90 degrees or 270 degrees? 270 degrees. The X and Y are going to flip spots. So P is 3 and 3. And again, we're not worrying about positive or negative. All right. So P prime, if you're moving 90 degrees or 270 degrees, the X and the Y switch spots. And we can't really give a rule of thumb for positive or negative because it just depends on where you start. So P prime, the Y is 3, the X is 3. If they flip-flop, we still have 3, 3. Okay? Now, if it is 180 degrees, P is 3 and 3, positive 3, 3. If it's 180 degrees, P prime is going to be the opposite of 3 and 3. So the opposite would be negative 3 and negative 3. All right. It's a lot. Let's see if we can make sense of this. A says a clockwise rotation of 180 degrees. All right, let me read what it says. Draw and label his positions after each rotation from P on the coordinate grid, A. So we're going to label A a clockwise rotation of 180 degrees. Okay, the rule of thumb for 180 degrees, we already said, is make the signs opposite on your ordered pair. So the clockwise rotation for P, instead of 3, 3, we're going to go negative 3, negative 3. So back 3, down 3. So this is point A, which is 180 degrees, 90, 180, and that's where it would be. All right, B says a clockwise rotation of 270. All right, 270. So this is 3 and 3, 3 and 3. And remember, 90 and 270, it's also going to be 3 and 3, but we got to figure out what quadrant it's in, and then we'll worry about the negatives or positives. All right, so it's a clockwise rotation. I got stuck again. Clockwise rotation, 270 degrees. So we're moving this direction, okay? And now 90, 180, 270. So it's going to be in this quadrant. And I need the 3, 3. I need 3 over and 3 up or down. So 3 over. So we're going to go back 3 and then up 3 to get into this quadrant. So that is B. C says counterclockwise rotation of 90 degrees. All right, 90 degrees, counterclockwise. We're going this direction. Oh, well, remember, a counterclockwise of 90 degrees is the same thing as a clockwise of 270. So we're going to call this B and C, okay? This is B and C. That looks like C prime. So this point has 2 names. Oops. Eraser, it's not liking this. So B and C. All right, D we are going to omit because it asks for a counterclockwise rotation of 45 degrees. And I said we are keeping it multiples of 90. All right, so that is 3. Let's look at 4. A spinner rotates about the center O of a circular board. Initially, the spinner is initially the spinner is in the position represented by OP. I don't know why they said OP. It's like a spinner. What they're saying OP is there's your spinner. Okay. If the spinner rotates to the position represented by OA, describe the rotation. All right. So we need degrees and direction. So if you're moving clockwise, how many degrees did it move? Well, it moved 1 quadrant, so that's 90 degrees clockwise. So I'm going to write 90 degrees clockwise. But there's another answer for this. And the other is if we're moving counterclockwise. And if we move counterclockwise, we're going to go through 1, 2, 3 quadrants. So this would be 90, 180, 270. So it's or 270 degrees counterclockwise. So I wrote both answers, and either answer is acceptable. It doesn't tell you that you have to write two, but I wanted to go over two of them because either one is correct. All right, B says a point B, -3, 2, undergoes the same rotation. Find the coordinates of its image B prime. Okay, what they're saying is we're going to put another point on our coordinate grid or on our spinner. And it's going to also move 90 degrees clockwise or 270 degrees counterclockwise. Either way, I'm just going to keep it simple. We'll go clockwise 90 degrees. All right, so let's figure out where it is right now. Right now it says it is at -3 and 2. All right, so let's plot that. -3 and 2 would be here. So that is B. Now, it is going to do the same rotation. Find the coordinates of its image B prime. Okay, how many degrees? It's going 90 degrees clockwise. So if I move clockwise, it's going to be in here somewhere with P. Okay, so do you remember the rule of thumb? What happens to the X and Y when it is a 90-degree movement or a 270? Well, they switch spots. So instead of -3, 2, and don't worry about the negatives right now, instead of 3 and 2, now it's going to be 2 and 3. But I'm not sure which is negative, which is positive. I just think about what quadrant it's in. So I'm going to go over 2 and up or down 3, depending upon where I'm going. All right, B is moving into 90 degrees, so we're here. So I need to go over 2. And then I need to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. So B prime is right here. Okay? Instead of going over 3 and up 2, we're going over 2 and up 3. That's only for 90 degrees and 270. Find the coordinates of its image B prime. So B prime is now 2 and 3, which is 2, 3. I didn't want to just leave that because I wasn't sure if it was -2 or -3. I had to look and figure out what quadrant I'm in. Point C also undergoes the same rotation. All right, its image is C prime, -1, -3. Find the coordinates of C. Okay, so this is different. They tell us the location after the movement. So we got to figure out what the coordinates are before the movement. All right, so C prime is -1 and 3. -1, -3. So this is C prime. Okay, so think. B moves from here to here. So it is going 90 degrees clockwise. So going back to the original is 90 degrees counterclockwise. So this is going to be 90 degrees. C is going to be over here somewhere. Okay, does that make sense? If it's here, then it can move 90 degrees here. Okay, we are moving 90 degrees. 1 and 3 becomes 3, 1. Okay, I need 3, 1. I need to go over 3 and up or down 1. So I need it to be in this quadrant. So I'm going to go over to the 3. And if I go up 1, I'm in the wrong quadrant. So I have to go down 1. So that is the original C. Whew, that's a lot, isn't it? All right, so that is 4. Number 5 is kind of the same thing, only I want you to work this on your own, but I'll get you started on what this means. The diagram shows the minute hand of a clock rotating about the center O of the clock face. The minute hand is initially represented by OP. So here's your minute hand. Point P is at the position 3, -4. Here's 3 and -4. Find the position of the minute hand under each of the following rotations. Image P prime, you're going to rotate P 90 degrees counterclockwise. So we're going to move this way 90 degrees. P double prime is a rotation of 90 degrees clockwise. And then P triple prime is 180 degrees. So can you figure out where all these P prime, P double prime, P triple prime are? So figure out where they are. I will tell you it's going to be one in here, one in here, one in here. All right, that's number 5. I would like for you to do that one. All right, 6. I think we're doing that together. Yes, we're going to do this one together. A trapezoid, ABCD, is drawn on the coordinate plane. And there it is. ABCD is rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin O. Draw and label the image of A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Okay, I'm going to just write my points out here real quick to help me with this. A is 2, 3. B is 2, 1. C is 3, 1. D is 5, 3. Okay. And that's going to help me figure out how my new coordinates. Okay, ABCD is rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise. So we got to figure out what quadrant are we moving to. Here's our original counterclockwise. We're moving to the left 90 degrees into this quadrant. Okay, so now I need to draw this in this quadrant, but it's a little bit tricky because I need to take each point on its own. So A originally was 2, 3. I got to flip it. Now I'm going to go over 3 and up or down 2. So I'm going to go over 3, but it's going to be on the negative side because I need to be in this quadrant. So I'm going to go back 3, and then I'm going to go up 2. Back 3, up 2. And this is A prime. B is 2, 1. So I need to go 1, 2. So I'm going to go back 1, up 2. That's going to be B prime. C prime, C is at 3, 1, so I'm going to flip that and go 1, 3. So I'm going to go back 1, up 3. 1, 2, 3. This is C prime. And D is 5, 3. Flip it around, 3, 5. So I'm going to go back 3, up 5. It should be here. And that's D prime. All right, then I'm going to take my straight edge and I'm going to connect A to B, B to C, C to D, and then D to A. All right, so we have moved this 90 degrees counterclockwise. Check, draw and label. We did that. B, what are the coordinates of A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime? I'm going to let you answer that on this. So you answer this one. Okay, A, B, C, D is rotated 180 degrees clockwise about the origin O. Draw and label the image A double prime, B double prime, C double prime, D double prime. All right, so I am taking A, B, C, D, and I'm rotating it 180 degrees clockwise. So we are ending up here. And what did we say about what happens to our coordinates? Our coordinates become the opposite. So A, instead of 2, 3, we're not switching places, we are making them opposite. So it's -2, -3. So we're going to go back 2, down 3. This is A double prime. B double prime. Instead of 2 and 1, -2, -1. -2, -1. B double prime. Okay, so I want you to do the same thing for C double prime and D double prime. Put them on this graph, connect them, and then I want you to answer. So finish this, finish C, find the coordinates, tell what the coordinates are then, and then how are A prime, B prime, C prime, and double prime, B double prime, C double prime, D double prime related? All right, so what they're saying is, how is this one related to this one? I want to see what you come up with, okay? All right, so that is 6. Good news, we are omitting 7 and we are omitting 8. So 7 and 8 you can omit. All right, class, good luck with these rotations. I think that you can do it, and I look forward to seeing your work. And you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.